Good morning, everybody. We're back in the paint booth bright and early this morning. I've been cleaning with wax and grease remover every surface. I've got the body flipped over a bunch of times. The hood, fenders, we are going to get a very nice coat with them upside down this time. We're going to get some sealer in there on both of them. Tricky to get under that lip there, but we'll do the best we can. Everything is clean. We've got some bolts that we've got to get some primer on, and we're just about ready to shoot the sealer. I'm going to blow it off one more time and give it the run a tack rag over everything and get the fans going. Let's go in here in the booth where we mix the paint, and I've got the epoxy primer we've been using. Here's the activator. Now most of this in the cup is white. I added just a half an ounce of gray, and it's still very light, but I add a little bit of gray in there so I could see where I'm going on the white. When you're trying to put white sealer on white primer, you can lose your way very easily. So I got just a little bit of gray in there. You could mix the epoxy primers with the colors. There's white, gray, red oxide, and black, and you could blend them and do what you want. We activated it, and we're going to let it sit for 30 minutes. And right before we go to shoot it, we're going to reduce it about 25% with a very slow reducer. Get you in there so you can see it. That is the 885 slow reducer, and that's going to allow this to lay down perfectly flat. It's going to settle out perfect. It's going to dry very fast with the extra reducer in there, and then, like I say, we're going to let it sit. Let's head back out here again. We'll do every surface of the body, outside, inside, underneath. And a lot of guys ask me why we shoot the sealer. You don't have to shoot the sealer if you don't want to. It does put a nice coat between your primer and your top coat. So this is very good primer. You could paint right over it if you wanted to. It will absorb some of your paint. Basically, your paint won't go as far. You'll be filling in, and the primer will be sucking it up a little bit. It's not terrible, and you could do it, like I say, but you will need to allow for more paint. With the sealer is going to completely seal up this primer, and it's not going to suck up any of our paint, and that's what we want. We don't want to waste paint. You know, the finished urethane is quite expensive, and there's no sense in just losing it to the primer. So the sealer is a good step. Obviously, again, if we were in a collision shop and just doing, you know, collision work on and those kind of paint jobs, we might not put the sealer, or we put the sealer or we way reduce it so it dries very fast, and then we would paint over that. And in accident shops, a lot of times you get what's called solvent pop. They put the paint on so fast, and sometimes they bake it, and they just don't let the solvents come out. You get your car, you put it out in the sun, you're driving it around, and pretty soon you've got what's called solvent pop, and that's basically the solvents coming to the surface and trying to escape. In restoration type painting, I take the time and let every coat dry. Now yesterday we sanded this, so from the time we sanded it till today is 24 hours roughly, and that's in the window of time that we could recoat this without sanding again. When you sand primer, you know, if we were to sand this whole thing and then leave it for a week, the sanding scratches actually fill back in again. So they're fresh now. they'll accept the sealer very good. If we waited any longer, we'd have to rescuff it. So we're going to hit all these parts, and I'll try and show you the process along the way. Okay guys, we are working on our sealer coat, and even though this is reduced quite a bit and it's dull, I think you can still see the reflection, how flat that surface is. You can see my hand reflection in there. That's what we're after. This is our final chance to go over all our surfaces, and we did all that sanding for a reason, you know, to get a nice coat like this. Like I say, you can see the reflection in there. The material is setting up real fast, and that's what we want. Solvent's gonna release from there nicely, and we'll be able to lay our Prairie Gold down tomorrow. I've got a little bit more to do on the tailgate, and we're gonna do this hood. Body is done. I gotta get a little bit more. I just ran out inside the wheelhouse there. But it's looking good. Got the toolbox lid on now. The floor is looking very good. I left just enough character in that to look very nice, I think. There was some talk when we started the project of leaving the floor bowed and twisted and stuff like that. But then they decided not to. So I straightened it, but I left a little bit of character in it because these folks here that own this are lucky enough to have it be in the family since new. So no sense in taking out the history. Toolbox looks good. Side panels, you remember we patched this whole area in here. It's looking real good. You remember how bad the spare tire area was? That came in nice. I think you can see the whole thing there. So we're going to paint this hood, and I'm going to try and set the camera up and show you this. And I see this quite a bit. Professional painters, first-time painters, most guys when they have a hood, and this is off the vehicle, but even when it's on the vehicle, a lot of guys will come over and they'll start in the center of the hood, and then they'll work one way, then they'll move around, they'll come on the other side, they'll work from the center out. What that does, that gives you trouble there, because it's very warm. It's about 80 degrees in the booth. So if you start from the center and work out, that's going to give you, it's going to start drying in the center, and it won't give you the best possible outcome that you can have. So when you see me do this hood, I'm going to start on one side and I'm going to work all the way over to the other side. That's how you want to work your panels. Don't start in the center of panels and work out, because by the time you get around to the other side, it's already flashing, it's already starting to dry. It's not a good way to go. So I'm going to try and set up so you can watch this whole hood get painted, and keep that in mind when you're doing a hood, when you're doing a pickup bed, when you're doing a whole car, when you're doing anything. Try and get out of the habit of starting in the center. And this is just a primer, but you'll see what I mean as we go through it. Some guys learn that way because they see it. It's just not the right way, and you will get stripes, or you will get dry spots, and that's not what you want. So I'm going to make another mix. We'll wait a half hour or so for that to induce, and then we will lay a little bit of it down on the hood and tailgate and the grill and some other pieces that we need to do, and then we'll get out of the booth and we'll let it dry. So hang in there, I'll be right back with you. Okay guys, before we get started and turn the fans on, what I'm using here, I hope you can see this okay. This is my DeVilbiss GTI Millennium gun, and I bought this oh, I don't know, I've probably had this gun for 25 years. This is when they made them real good. I have a 1-3 tip in here right now because we have our material reduced so much. So I'm running a 1-3 tip. This particular gun came with a 1-3, 1-4, 1-5, and we're using a 1-3 right now. Okay guys, there's the hood all finished. And the tailgate and the dash. Got just about everything the way we like it. And I got a little bit of junk in the glove box door. We'll sand that tomorrow. Grill is looking good. Body's looking good. So we are just on the doorstep of spraying the Prairie Gold. So, like I say, we are going to let the solvent evaporate overnight. We will come in here tomorrow, do any final sanding or any detail work on any areas with some 400 grit, and start laying down the Prairie Gold. So, just a real shorty today, but hang in there, and Prairie Gold's coming next. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.